So Conor McGregor got knocked the f out. Let's talk about it. So jumping into the quick fight breakdown, right before I get into it, guys, comment right now who you guys honestly had winning this fight. If you say Dustin Poirier by second round knockout, I will probably not believe you. But regardless, first thing I want to get into, how was Conor McGregor a -305 favorite against Dustin Poirier? What? That makes no sense to me. That just shows that this is a Conor McGregor fight when a bunch of casuals are betting on him to win. None of them probably even knew who fucking Dustin Poirier was. So to us, that makes no sense. Do you guys think the odds makers realized that Conor McGregor is fighting Dustin Poirier and not fucking Diego Sanchez like he was begging Dana White to? Getting right into the fight, how about that weird ass start by Conor McGregor? This guy jumping in, sprinting right away before Herb Dean was able to clap his hands. And then obviously right off the bat, both guys were exchanging some shots, and Dustin Poirier, genius Mike Brown game plan, snuck in that takedown, made Conor McGregor work, get back to his feet, go in the clinch, build up that lactic acid that sucks. And something that Chael Sonnen says, he said that once you get a takedown, the threat of a takedown is as effective as the takedown itself, if that makes sense. That kind of blew my mind when he said that, to be honest. It was like some Inception shit. And then a big thing was that Dustin didn't panic and he didn't get overwhelmed and he didn't get flustered, even when he was hitting McGregor and even when McGregor was hitting him. And Dustin actually said on Ariel Helwani's podcast was because he said there was an aura around McGregor like there was in their first fight against each other. And he said McGregor in this rematch was just another fighter that bleeds just like him, which is cold as fuck. No, then just to quickly get into the stance bullshit, the boxing stance that McGregor had going into this fight. So he came out in that boxing stance, and in that boxing stance, he's heavy on that lead leg. And when you're heavy on that lead leg, when Dustin kicks the shit out of your calf, it's gonna dig into your muscle a little bit deeper, gonna make it a little more painful, and that's gonna accumulate over time and just make it a hell of a fight, which is something McGregor has not dealt with, which we'll get into more in depth later in this video. In the first round and up until the second round when McGregor's calf just completely fucking gave out, it was a close fight on the feet. Both guys were landing shots, and I have to say, Dustin Poirier, he said it himself in various interviews after the fight, he wanted to make it a mixed martial arts fight. He didn't want to get into a kickboxing fight, and obviously once that last calf kick landed and McGregor's leg gave out and Dustin saw that and recognized that, game over. Bounce his head off the canvas. That's all she wrote after that. And something that was crazy to me was that Dustin, right after the fight, he said to DC and Paul Felder, he doesn't actually love this anymore, which kind of caught a lot of people by surprise, because who says that after knocking out the greatest superstar in UFC history? But then he actually clarified that in an interview after this fight, and he said he actually doesn't like the process of the fights, which makes sense. You know, the bullshit media questions, the same questions by the same fucking reporters every single time. He was saying they call it Fight Island. This is CTE Island, which is a line I love. What he loves is training, sparring, and actually fighting. And this was the first TKO loss of Conor McGregor's career. So it's interesting to think of how his ego, his huge ego, how it's gonna handle this loss, if he's actually gonna come back. And guys, comment right now. Do you think McGregor is going to come back, or do you think he's just gonna retire and give up? I'm fucking crossing every limb I have to hope that he comes back. And Dustin even said it himself that Conor will rise if Conor wants to. It's all up to him. Dana even said the same thing. And guys, comment right now, who do you think wins the trilogy between these guys? Try to take away that recency bias. McGregor's undefeated after getting his ass kicked, so let's just see how that works out.
Shut up, bitch! Oh my God!
So now moving on to the key takeaways after this fight. First and foremost, Dustin is a dog and can perform under the biggest lights. And something I just want to touch on is that I understand you're rich. I understand you're going to be a billionaire soon, but like having your kids around the whole time in Fight Island, like, isn't that a big distraction? If you guys watched McGregor's interviews leading up to this fight while he's on Fight Island, you see Conor McGregor Jr. just swinging the left hand in the background of his interviews, and McGregor's like, let's go champ, let's go champ. Like, isn't that a distraction? Doesn't that get to you? Doesn't that take away from you focusing on the fight? It's easier said than done when I don't have kids myself. Fuck, not gonna have that for a few years. Now moving on to popular questions that everyone is talking about. It's not a question, but guys, the fucking memes, oh my God, the memes were making me piss my pants. Even as a heartbroken Conor McGregor fan, that shit was hilarious. My absolute favorite was this one, ping it right here. So First question was based on Conor McGregor's stance. Why did he switch up the stance? Guys, I think the stance talk is pretty much bullshit, because regardless if Conor McGregor was more wide stance, if he ate those calf kicks, he still would have had the same reaction. He would have been more stagnant in his movement, and it would have been the same result in my opinion. It might have been a little later because Conor might have been able to evade those calf kicks a little easier in a wide stance, not being heavy on the lead leg. But regardless, he still would have ate them. Still think that they would have accumulated over time and fucked up his movement and ended up getting him KO'd. If you do the research and you watch all of McGregor's fights back, when the fight goes into the second, third, fourth, fifth round, he adopts more of a boxing stance, in the sense that it's more of his version of a second or third gear, you know? So the next popular question that everyone is talking about, how is Conor McGregor not prepared for calf kicks if he's a UFC fighter? First and foremost, unless you're from Dagestan named Habib, no matter what, you cannot emulate a calf kick in a live fight under the bright lights. I don't understand how you can hate on John Kavanagh and the rest of the team. It's just his inactivity. Maybe he could have prepared for calf kicks a little better. And another one that I'm really interested in, Habib says, you know, guys, show me, impress me with these performances and I'll come back for 30-0. Okay, Chandler says, hold my beer, knocks Hooker out in the first round. What? That blew my fucking mind. And then Dustin Poirier is like, oh yeah, no worries, hold my hot sauce. And then KOs McGregor in the second round. Like, I know you choke a lot of people out, but like, that's impressive. I think Habib wanted Conor to win, to be honest, and be a part of that rematch. That would have been the biggest fight in UFC history by far, maybe combat sports history. So I personally think he just wanted to be a part of history, make a fuck ton of money, then officially retire 30-0, you know, smash another McNugget and get that paycheck. So guys, comment below, who do you think should fight for the vacant lightweight belt? Do you think it should be Conor and Poirier, the trilogy for the belt? Do you think it should be Poirier Chandler, Poirier Oliveira, Poirier Gaethje? Let me know, comment below. I would love to hear from you. Guys, you need to listen to Darren Till right now.
I'd like to ask people to subscribe to Dark Horse MMA and give this video a thumbs up. Boom.
Guys, make sure to do that to support the channel, and then you can click right here to watch my Khamzat Chimaev reaction video. I guarantee it will make your day, or you can click right here to watch whatever YouTube's suggesting for you. I'll see you guys later.